Hey guys, Yannick here for Cinecom.net and welcome back to another Copycat Friday. And this week we are tackling the new advert from Nike. Or Nike. A week ago Nike released a "You Can't Stop Us" advert and it took every social media by storm. And of course, this is no surprise as the ad is super good in meaning and execution. Throughout the 90-second advert, an athlete on one half of the screen mirrors another one on the opposite side move for move, as if they are one single person. This represents the whole message behind the advert: we are never alone and that's our strength. Now when seeing this, I was honestly blown away with the syncing and the matching of all the clips. Nike, I tip my hat to you. And that's why we had no other choice. We had to make this video. So enough yapping and let's start recreating. The first thing we now need is footage of athletes, and a lot of it. Out of my research, I found out that Nike had 4,000 hours of footage, which they reduced to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Now a wild guess? I don't think that anybody here has 4,000 hours of sport footage just laying around. Or do you? That's why you have two options: go out and shoot some sports yourself, or use stock clips. Or maybe even mix things up and use them both. It doesn't really matter, the principle stays the same. Now we are going to start by using stock clips from our beloved sponsor Storyblocks video. But how do you start? What's the right footage? Well, the first thing I did was look for a certain sport. So on Storyblocks video I started looking for running athletes. And of course I paid attention to a few things. The first is the resolution. A higher resolution gives us more space to work with in post-production. So I made use of the 4K search option of Storyblocks video. Now, I started with running athletes, but you can really use whatever sport you want. Within your search, try to find two shots with the same camera angle. Like these two shots right here, a frontal angle. That way we can match them easily. And this is why Storyblocks video is perfect for this effect. They have a ton of sports stock clips you can use, from basketball to football to ballet. You will definitely find something you need on Storyblocks video. And with only one single price per year, you can download as much as you want. So maybe you can have 4,000 hours of sport footage laying around. Who knows? For more information, go to the first link in the description below. Okay, you found the footage you want, now let's kick off Premiere Pro. Here we can take our two shots and place them in the timeline. Now if for example you didn't find two 4K stock clips, but only one, then you best lay the 4K clip on top. This we are doing so that we can still scale up or down without seeing the edges of the clip or losing quality. Then when in place, it's time to sync them. So lower the opacity of the upper clip to around 50%, then let's look for a point to sync on. This can be something obvious like a foot hitting the ground or a certain motion. But for us, the foot will be the easiest. So on the lower clip we looked for a point where the foot is on the ground and trimmed the beginning of this clip to this point. Then do the same for the upper clip and we can already lay them both in sync. For the beginning anyways. Not every runner has the same speed. That's why we also need to timer map the slowest runner, because it's easier to speed up your clip than to slow it down and make it choppy. But before we can time remap, we first want to get the position and scale right so that the time remap will be easier. Now enable the animation for both the position and scale, then adjust the upper clip to match the lower clip. We matched the face and the feet of the two runners and adjusted the position and scale for the entire length of the two clips, matching the top clip to the lower one. And with these adjustments you will already sync up the two runners. Next up is making the sync even more perfect with time remapping. So create a time remapping keyframe on every foot hitting the ground. Then increase the speed a little bit between the keyframes to sync every footstep from both clips. And normally you now have two runners running at the same speed. Then it's time to create a split screen, and we are doing this with a simple crop effect. Just select the top clip and right click on it. Choose Nest, and on this nested sequence we are going to add the crop effect. In the effects control panel, set the right crop to 50% and boom! We have a split screen. And that's the main principle for this effect. But you also have variations like you can see right here, where one athlete moves from one side to the other with a certain motion, and from the split screen the second athlete comes in with the same motion on the exact moment the first athlete disappears, creating a smooth transition between the two athletes. Whew. What a sentence. But how can you do that? Well, quite simple. First, look for stock footage where the athletes have the same motion, like the rotation motion from this dancer and the snowboarder. Again, place them above each other in your timeline, then look for the point where the dancer is nearing the middle of the screen. On this point, the snowboarder also needs to appear, so with the position property, place the snowboarder in the right place. Then enable the animations for the position and go further in time until the dancer is completely gone. On this moment, the snowboarder needs to be completely in the shot, so animate the position to do this. Of course, create your split screen like before, and that's really it, guys! Now it's time for Janik Fun Fact Fountain! First of all, I like to mention that ever since I was a young boy, I'm a huge fan of the Nike adverts. Especially the football themed ones. They were like short movies and a joy to watch back in the days. But enough being nostalgic, let's sum up some facts. Did you know that the founder of Nike, Phil Knight, didn't really like the name Nike? He opted for the name Dimension 6. But eventually Nike, the Greek goddess of victory, made the cut. And another thing that Phil Knight didn't like was the logo. However, like you can guess, they still went for the checkmark swoosh logo and paid a hefty fee of $35 for it. I don't want to be that graphic designer. And that was it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you Storyblocks video for the support. And like always, stay creative. So guys, what do you think about my black copycat t-shirt? Or is it black? Maybe it's blue. Or green, orange, purple. No, it's black, sorry. I like the black copycat t-shirt. It suits me better black. I'm secretly in God with TH.